This is the Micromax in Note 1 disassembly. First, let's go ahead and pop out that SIM tray. Now you're going to want to heat the back plate up using a hairdryer or a heat gun so you can loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then you're going to use a plastic pry tool to pry the back plate off. Now once the back plate is loose from the frame, you're going to want to press down over here where the fingerprint reader is and separate that from the back plate. There's some adhesive underneath holding it together. Here's a better look at your plastic back plate. Next, we're going to take our plastic pry tool and place it in between the back housing and the frame of the screen. And we're going to pop the catches along the sides of the back housing so it can separate it from the frame of the screen. So here's the plastic back housing or border of the phone. There are antenna flex cables on the top and bottom of this plastic piece. And these gold contacts over here on the flex cables touch pins on the motherboard, which gives it a connection. Next, it's time to pry off this fingerprint reader from this plastic cover. Now there are 13 Phillips screws which need to be removed. Once the screws are removed, we can lift up and remove the top cover. So here's your top cover. The glass portion of this camera lens cover is held on with adhesive. So if you ever broke that and wanted to replace it, you could just apply heat in this area and pry this glass portion off the frame. And then you take your new camera lens cover and install it back over. And here's a look at the back side. Now it's time to disconnect the battery cable. Just pop it off. Once the battery cable is disconnected, we can go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. There's a wire cable over here in the corner. We have to pop it off. There are two protective tapes over here which need to be peeled off. Now we can disconnect the front facing camera. There are two Phillips screws holding down the main board. One is located over here and one in this corner over here. Now that those two screws are removed, we can lift up and remove the main board. So taking a look at the motherboard, you have a copper tape covered with a graphite sheet sitting on top of the shield over here. You also have a secondary microphone located over here on top of the motherboard. And as far as your camera cables go, if you want to disconnect them, all you have to do is just pop them off. So once we peel back that copper tape, we can see a thermal pad sitting on top of this chip over here. And here's a look at it with that thermal pad removed. So taking a look at the back, we can see there's some thermal paste over here, which is sitting on top of another copper tape with graphite film over it. You have one over here as well. You have your proximity sensor located over here on top, a liquid damage indicator over here, and your memory card or SIM reader located over here. As far as the cables for the cameras go, it's the same as the front. You just have to pop them off to disconnect them. Once we peel off those copper tapes, we can see a thermal pad which sits on top of the processor, another one that sits on top of this chip over here, and one located over here which sits on these resistors. Now let's go ahead and remove your speaker assembly. And here's a better look at that. There's a wire cable here we need to pop off and disconnect. And there's one flex cable here that needs to be disconnected. Now we can lift up and remove the charger port board. So on your charger port board, you can see there's a rubber gasket around your charger port, as well as your headphone jack located over here. And you have your primary microphone located right here. Here's the back side. And underneath this rubber gasket, there's a pink colored paste. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Moving on to the battery, we have two pull tabs, one located on this side of the battery and one over here. Here's a better look at your battery. So this flex cable over here connects your main board to your subboard or charger port board on the bottom, and this flex cable is for your screen. So if you ever have to replace your screen, once you disconnect the cable from the main board and remove your battery, you would heat up the front of the phone where the screen is so you can loosen up the adhesive that's holding the screen down, and then you'd pry your screen off the mid-frame, making sure you peel your flex cable from the mid-frame over here and running it through the slit over here in the mid-frame. And then you'd get your new screen, reapply it back to the mid-frame, making sure you run your cable back to the slit over here, and then just reassemble your phone. A few other things to point out: you have your vibrator motor located down here, your earpiece speaker is located up here, and both of those are held down with adhesive, so if you wanted to replace those or remove them, just apply some heat and gently pry them off. You also have a flex cable over here and one over here, which are for your buttons on the sides. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Once all your screws and back housing are in place, apply new adhesive and reapply your back plate over. Make it flip over your phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.